This is Justine Browning at the Paley Center in New York City to talk to the cast of the Hulu comedy, The Mindy Project. Writing motherhood into the storyline, in doing that, you're tackling so many really important issues that women face. Was that your intention beforehand?
Yeah, I think that right now, women's choice to go back to work or to stay at home with their kids is such a interesting and fraught and juicy subject. And I think putting Mindy in that, in the middle of that is really fun. And it's super funny and relatable. So, and it's great because she's a character that takes like big stances, and then I've been noticing with this particular topic, she's had to reverse course a couple of times, which is very fun to do. So I really like it. I'm
sure, and I'm wondering, writing and being on The Office years back, could you have imagined that we get to a place in TV where fans are really deciding, in this case, following the show to Hulu, fans are deciding what they want to say. It's not necessarily in the hands of networks anymore.
Well, it's really wonderful. I mean, the being on Hulu and the way that we've been embraced, the creative freedom that we've had, the fact that our fans are loving the show even more, we feel really lucky about that. And also, the shows can be like what we wanted. They're a little bit longer than they used to be, and it seems like 4 years into it, like I feel like I'm making the show that I really wanted to make. So yeah.
And I think at no other time has the relationship between Danny Castellano and Mindy been more fascinating, because we see their differences really come to the surface now that they're parents. Can you talk about playing those dynamics at this point in the season?
Yeah, I know so many people who are great couples and get married and never have a fight or do anything, and then they have kids, and you see like the cracks start to show a little bit in their relationship. And this is a pair of people that have a very tumultuous relationship. It's already before they even had kids. So seeing how they deal with kids has been fascinating, and how it's made each of them stretch. I happen to believe that nobody changes, so people don't change. But I think that people can stretch a little bit. And so I think that that's been very fun to see how it takes a toll in their relationship. It also makes them get stronger. So
one of the cool things that was just in the news is how popular this show is now that it's gone to Hulu. The fans have followed.
The fans have come with us, which we really appreciate. We were worried that our fans wouldn't have $7, but they threw together what they had, and everyone's loving it except for my grandmother, who's 92, and I'm still trying to figure out how she can watch it.
Well, yes, unfortunately, that demographic got a little bit lost.
Yeah, but they're still going to see it, so that's good.
I love this character so much.
Oh, thank
Morgan
you.
is iconic at this point, really.
Yes.
I think you mastered him from day one, it seems. He's been consistent, like a
so
lovable
nice
weirdo consistently.
Yeah, he is. When you're playing someone who's really lovable and stupid, it's a very winning combination. So Mindy really figured it out and let me kind of run with it, and we've had a lot of fun. He's really stupid.
He's really stupid.
Yes.
But he's gone through some interesting changes in the last few seasons as
Yes.
well. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, well, he's definitely kind of finding love a little bit, and whether it's with Tamra Zosha Roquemore over there, or Liza Coop or Julia Stiles, he's kind of, and also now that when Mindy changes, Morgan changes with her. He's always there to help her with the baby and stuff.
An interesting thing that Mindy just said was that she's had a lot of creative freedom now bringing the show to Hulu, which I think is very interesting. Have you noticed a shift? Have you noticed a difference in the way that she works at this point?
Yeah, definitely. Like, everybody seems a lot more relaxed. I feel like there's like less pressure, weirdly, to perform in terms of ratings. And the audience has followed us, so we're definitely doing something right,
What hasn't changed is that your character lives in his own world, his own bubble, which is the best
His own
to watch.
strange, sort of sexually ambiguous ivory tower. Very odd.
I could not have put it better than
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Jeremy is a very interesting, peculiar character who I feel very lucky to play.
I think it's interesting because there's been such a consistency, and yet I'm wondering when you got to the point where you felt completely comfortable as this person on screen.
I think it was in season 2 they made him fat. So I had this this kind of belly on for the best part of a season. And I just, as a former chubster myself, if that's the politically correct, appetite challenged. I don't know what the way of saying it is.
Man of size.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, ass endowed. I really related to that, and then it made so much sense of like, you know, Jeremy's neuroses and his need to be impressive, and his need to like pretend like he's a ladies' man, because he's just like a little fat boy inside, and he's so sad about it. He doesn't want anyone to know, and it made like a lot of sense. And that for me really unlocked the character. And then like having him be the boss, having him being this kind of impotent leader, not impotent sexually, viewers, just professionally. I think that was really the key that made me understand him and like really feel comfortable in his skin, even though Jeremy is not comfortable in his own, sadly.
What's so interesting is that there's kind of a codependent relationship that everybody has with Mindy. Depending on where her life is at any given moment, the other characters' lives, I think, turn in that direction as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Speak to how that affects you.
Well, you know, I think now that now that Mindy and Danny are together and they're functional, they have a kid, you know, I think it's making Jeremy really examine where he is in life. Like, he wants a partner, you know, he wants somebody, you know, he wants somebody to have a kid with. So that's where we find him in this season. He's desperate for it to be Whitney, for example, played by Kristen Milioti, but that looks like that might not work out.
She's on too many other shows to have a
She's
baby.
on too many other shows to have a baby with me.
She was here yesterday. I should have asked her.
God damn it. She's carrying so many children from so many different protagonists. That sounds bad. I don't mean it to come out that way, Kristen. I love you. I'm not saying you're a network TV slut. What's happening? What's happening?
I was thinking the same
What's
thing. That's
happening?
Weird. How are we on the same wavelength now?
Jesus Christ.
What's interesting about this character is that there's so much said about her that, like, behind her back. You know, that she was a Times Square Elmo at one point. I love that. Oh my God. I feel like that's true. So do you have to keep tabs on what in the script is said about the character to bring
I do pay attention, but I can't keep tabs with all of Beverly's stuff. You know, it's funny. So recently somebody asked me about her one-liners, and there's so many. I mean, she's just done everything, been everywhere, seen everything, had many different careers, many different husbands, lovers, has wild fantasies about, you know, working for a sheik's harem and being the babysitter, lives in the alley one minute, then she's in a halfway house. I mean, she's pretty nuts and been stoned. You know, she obviously smokes pot. She's an alcoholic. She's been in prison. She goes under a pseudonym. She has a strange son somewhere. I'd like to meet him. You know, so I just can't imagine. It's so much fun. You can imagine getting a script. You open it up and you say, "Oh my God, I did that." So I really have a fun. I love the surprise of who she is every time.
It never ceases to amaze me what this character is up to. When you look back at some of the crazy one-liners you've delivered on this series, the one that stands out in my mind is, at the end of the day, at one point you go, "Come on, I have tickets to an execution."
And I'm like it's the best ticket in town. I know, I love that one too. Because who would do that for entertainment? But what I figure is when she was in prison, she met somebody that she didn't like, that did her wrong, and she found out she's finally going to be executed. And so she's like, "Get me there."
She's relishing.
Yeah.
She's not like there as like a supporter.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I think. This is somebody she wanted to see him bite the dust.
So it's interesting. So you
Terrible.
create
I don't
these-
even believe in capital punishment, mind you.
The character apparently does for this one person.
Definitely does.
But do you create these lengthy kind of backstories? Because
I do.
this
I have
a
fun with
memoir or something of this character should be released.
That would be a fun thing to do. I should write her bio with putting all the pieces together. You've just given me a great idea. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. This was her idea.
That would be a great tie-in for
That's
promotion.
actually a great idea. That would be fun.
I would be the first to buy it.
So I write my own fan fiction.
Yes, you write your own fan fiction for your own character, and you sign it as your character at a book signing. Well, one of the things I've been discussing with the other cast members is the way that Mindy's life affects all of the other characters. Depending on what's going on, because they're all so codependent, it affects the other characters. Can you speak to how that affects Tamra?
Yeah, I mean, there's a baby around, and she's just had a baby, so I think Tamra is probably more meddlesome than ever in her life and in Danny's life. Yeah.
It must be interesting working on a series that has so much love from fans that it's carried over to Hulu, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's super cool. The fans are amazing, and I'm so glad that the show is able to continue in Hulu, which is like kind of the new wave, streaming services, you know, like TV's over. It's all about streaming.
The networks don't necessarily control every aspect of creativity
Exactly,
anymore.
yeah. So I think it's a better like breeding ground for like awesome, fun, off the cuff comedy. We can do more.
Have you been affected personally by that shift, by the freedom?
No. Like on set, everything feels the same. But watching it back, I'm like, oh, it looks more cinematic. Oh, the episode's longer. Mindy said like ass or bitch or something, you know, like little things like that. Yeah, or like tits or like something like that. But like otherwise, on set, we're still in the same place, still in the same set, same crew, same cast. So it kind of feels the same, which is good.
Of course.
Yeah.
I love this character so much because she's such a scene stealer. And I want to go back to when you first originated this character. How much was created by Mindy? Because I know she allows freedom, from her actors because she's an actor herself. So how much was on the page?
Well, I mean, the character was definitely created by Mindy and them, but when I auditioned for the character, it was named Zosha, which is my name. So I think it was written kind of with me in mind, unbeknownst to me at the time, because I couldn't fathom that anyone would know who I was. But yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's amazing people just relate to this woman. So
I know, that's so cool. And they were like, I mean, Mindy's like everyone's best friend in their head, so I love it. It's fun to get to like be around that energy.